Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today I want to talk about the awesomeness of having generational wealth. And I want to make a point that this is not about comparing yourself to other people and the generational wealth that you perceive that they have, because comparison is a thief of joy, and I'm not talking about that. I have just always admired generational wealth. And nowadays, I have realized that you don't always have to be rich to benefit from generational wealth or have it, because I have benefited from generational wealth. And so I'm nowhere close to rich. So once I go through the points that I want to go through, you'll realize that generational wealth, it is mostly for the rich people, but even if you aren't the richest, everybody has some sort of generational wealth. And those are the ones that are not as obvious. That's why I put in the title, the obvious ones and the hidden. There are some hidden general wealth signs that you can look to see what other people's generational wealth is. So the first one is that you can stay somewhere rent-free, or you have someone that pays your car payment, which is most likely your parents. So the rent-free one is like the obvious, and better yet, if you have someone, if your parents have or your family has like multiple homes, and as you age and become a young adult, they're like, you can stay in the home for free. That's what most people think is generational wealth. But even if you can stay with your parents and not pay for rent, that is such a blessing. And I'm just like, ooh. Anybody that I peep has a situation, I'm like, girl or guy, you are so lucky, because baby, I wish. I have always had to pay rent. Now, I've always had to pay rent once I was outside my mama's house. And that's fine. Thank God I was able to, but I've always had to pay rent. But imagine if you didn't. I stuck in the car payment one because think about it. Your parents paying your car payment is like is something generationally that they're doing for you, and should not be taken for granted. And that is something that middle class people do all the time. But there are still people who do not have a car. They don't have a car, or if they do have a car, they are on hook for the car, the insurance, everything. So that's the number one thing. If you have your rent or your car payment paid, you benefit from generational wealth. The second one is having your education paid for. I put this different from rent and a car, because those are like, you need most of those things. But education, at least in America, is still something that is not guaranteed after high school, and it's looking like even before high school, the way things are going, it won't be guaranteed. So if you are able to have grandpa or grandma or your parents pay for your education to a point where when you're done, you don't have student loans, you have benefited from generational wealth. And I actually know several people who are middle class that have benefited from them, because their parents were low class, their parents understood how education helped them go from low class to middle class. So that is a gift that they want to give their children. And that is amazing. I didn't particularly get that. I definitely had to take out student loans, and I have no problem with that, because at least I had the opportunity, and that has changed the trajectory of my life tremendously. I don't have the receipts from that degree, but I definitely paid $150,000 for that degree. However, with my kids, I do plan on paying for their education. I do, because I value it, and I hope to. Now, I'm not guaranteeing them an Ivy League education, but a 4-year degree past high school, I do see that as important and worth it to them. Number 3 thing that I peep as generational wealth is that your family has wealth conversations. And I'm not talking about those conversations where you talk about paying your bills and robbing Peter to pay Paul. Those are poverty conversations, and that's fine too. But this video is about generational wealth. I'm talking about conversations where you learn about stock options from a young age, and you learn how to shelter your money legally from you are a child to you are adolescent to you are a young adult. Because if you have that in your mind, if the people who are raising you are talking about that, you have more likelihood of talking about that. If your family talks about businesses because they're business owners, you are more inclined to be like, I'm just gonna have a business. Yeah, I might go to college, but I'm always gonna have a business. You know what I'm saying? If you have people who are in real estate and they're buying homes and investment properties, that's always gonna be in your ticker mentally since you were a babe. So when you're an adult, you're gonna have that mindset, and you automatically have an upper hand in how you end up financially, because your family has wealth conversations and not poverty conversations. The other day, I learned from a friend that apparently you can get a loan against your stocks and securities and use that to buy another asset or whatever you want. But the only smart way to do it, in my opinion, is to get another asset. That was used, and I was like, I didn't know you could do that. But it's how I imagine it. It's like a home, like you can get a home equity line of credit loan on your house if it has equity. It made all the sense. I just didn't know that you can get that with your stock, but your stock is equity. Security is equity. It says it's worth $100,000, $200,000, $1 million. If you need to buy another asset, you can just borrow against that, because on paper, it's worth $1 million. Why can't I borrow $300,000 from it? Now, I don't know the stipulations. I don't know if you have to pay it a lot quicker than a normal loan or the everyday loans that we know about, which is a car loan and a mortgage loan. But there are different loans out here that wealthy people know about. I just found out at the age of 37. And I was flabbergasted and amazed, and it just made me think generational wealth. People are talking about money in a way where it's asset driven and not just paying your light bill, your water bill, your insurance bill. The number 4 thing that makes me think about generational wealth, and this one is hidden, but once I tell you, like, okay, is your family speaking another language. If you speak another language, please teach your babies to speak it. I live in Miami, so there's a lot of languages, from Spanish to Russian to French to Portuguese. It's not just Spanish down here. There's so many languages. And a lot of the young generations don't know it. And I think that is such a wasted amount of potential, because if you speak another language, you automatically have an upper hand in making money. You may not think it, but you do. And also, you have the opportunity to create your own market, either completely separate or within wherever you work. Because if you speak Creole, or if you speak Spanish, or if you speak Russian, you can automatically offer yourself to the people that speak your language, in addition to everybody else. But that is an upper hand and generational wealth that I don't think people realize, and it's more of a hidden one. The number 5 reason that is also not as obvious is that you are raised to know your value and that money isn't everything. Definitely, I benefited from this because, I didn't grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth. However, I was always taught that I was valuable regardless if I had money or not. And I think that's a different type of wealth. Because there are people who have money that don't feel like they're valuable. They don't have the inner confidence and the inner pride in themselves. That's really important still, to be instilled in you, like, money doesn't make you. I say it all the time, money is a currency that flows, and I just need the flow, because with flow, you get power. And that's all I use it for. Yeah, it may seem like I care about money a lot, but I really don't. It is just a tool that is needed to navigate this life. But with or without money, you are no less than a person because you have less money, and vice versa if you have more money. And for people who may not come from money, if you have that in your family and they instill that in you, you are wealthy beyond what a lot of concrete money is. You are still wealthy, and that is something that your family gave to you that will serve you and will serve the next generations. So yeah, those are the obvious and hidden aspects of general wealth that I wanted to talk about today. And I use it to remind myself to, again, never be jealous of anybody, but particularly use it as inspiration to be the best that I can be in this life. I do think it's all about running your own race. So, if you see something that's inspiring and you wish you have it, it's more so an opportunity to talk more about it to either that person that has it or people who want to talk about that stuff, so you can figure out how to get there. So just let me know, what part of generational wealth do you see happening around you that you particularly admire or that you particularly have benefited from? Let me know in the comments which ones that you aspire to get to your kids, and I will see you guys in the next video.